Namaste to all of you. I start again, ma'am. Okay. So, hello and namaste to all of you who are here to witness the big celebration of AYJ turning 4 today. So, let's begin this Founders Day event with chanting of prayer and omkars. And it would be a very humble request to all of you to please keep your setting on mute mode throughout unless it's asked for. And to start, let's just sit very comfortably wherever you are and just put your back straight very comfortably, your hands rested on your knees, your shoulders little bit rolled back, and gently close your eyes. You can wish to chant together or just enjoy the listening of the prayer. Just gently collect all your thoughts and bring attention to your breathing. Feel the relaxation. Give yourself a while. And now we will start with 3 omkars followed by the prayer. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahi Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. With eyes still closed, feeling the relaxation and the peace in your mind, gently rub your palms together and put both your palms onto your eyes and your face. Feel the warmth. And now, gently with a nice sweet smile on your face, please open your eyes. And here, with the smile, I once again, give you a very warm welcome to today's event. We all are here to celebrate the 4th Founders Day of AYJ Academy. And myself, your host for the day, Saru Jindal. And just to tell a very brief, I am a chemist turned into a business consultant and presently turned into a yoga teacher. And I have got the privilege to study under none other than Dr. Nuthan at the AYJ Academy. Okay, so as the program will commence, let me just brief you. We will have our 3 renowned speakers of the day who will take us through a short journey to learn how to balance between beauty, mind, and life. And who wouldn't want to attend this whole session? I am sure nobody wants to miss out about when it's named about mind and beauty. And of course, it's connected to all natural healing procedures here. And for this, I would extend my very warm welcome to the founder herself, Dr. Nuthan Pakhare ma'am, and for whom it must be an even more and very special and exciting day as it's the birthday of her own very beloved brainchild, AYJ. And then after that, we will also have our special guests and speakers of the day, Dr. Sweta Adatia, the founder of Limitless Brain Lab, and Dr. Priya Patki, founder Abja Research and Healthcare. Now, AYJ Academy, as the name already says to you, it's a very beautiful amalgam of Ayurveda, A for Ayurveda, Y for Yoga, and G for Garbh Sanskar. Now, what is Ayurveda? We all know. It's a very ancient science to keep us healthy and physically and mentally both. And of course, we all are aware that how popular it's getting now worldwide, especially after the coronavirus. People has just witnessed everything good about it. And now, what is yoga? Yoga is a path to spiritual health and peace. And what is Garbha Sanskar? It is also an Asian science and it helps in guiding the health and well being. And it starts not after birth, but even from the time of conception. That is, the whole pregnancy you have to take care of yourself. Now, when all these three are combined together, it results in the immunity and good health, which is the essence of a very good lifetime ahead of us. Now, AYJ was created with the aim of educating and training for healing through all these three sciences. And since its foundation was in the year 2020. AYJ is successfully making knowledge treasure available to the numerous people globally through its physical presence, that is the live classes, as well as online classes globally. So the whole world has opened to it, okay? And so nobody can say ki we missed a chance. And ma'am has so many courses at all possible timings that you will never miss it if you have the will to do. Now, AYJ is supported well by many other affiliated associations. To name a few, World Yoga Organization USA, some International Yoga Organization, and Indian Yoga Association, Ministry of Ayush. So all the big names affiliated to this organization. Nutan ma'am, I remember you told once that you started this dream project with your experience while working with a medical background and almost 2 decades of experience as an Ayurvedic practitioner. It has been just 4 years and nurturing this so beautifully, your baby, you have spread the wings to about 18 countries, if I'm not wrong, and the numbers is still counting, and I'm sure it will go worldwide at every place. And here, the special thing is that the learning is done with keeping your traditional roots and yet meeting all the modern requirements. And knowing Nutan ma'am and her empathetic and caring personality, she has touched and helped thousands of people already, and many more are there. She is rooted with determination and passing her immense knowledge with simplicity to all her students as well as her patients. The courses are very well designed with a very balanced distribution of theory and practical sessions, and I have gone through it during my pregnancy, so I can very well guarantee you it has been just perfect. Even during my pregnancy, I could practice everything that was taught. To meet the comfort and requirements, the courses come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. You can choose from a live session to a pre-recorded session to any kind of online live session. And it comes from long number of hours to very short courses. So you can meet any kind of requirements you need. And it comes in very small batches, which is a big USP that you are very free. You can pay full attention. Ma'am can pay full attention and has a very good understanding and learning to all participants in any batch. And her prompt responses to any queries, I'm telling you, has helped us throughout. She's all the time available. I don't know how she manages, but she does. And she's able to connect with the students with the willingness. And she's also the biggest point, after being so much and after running such a big academy, she's so down to earth and always ready to learn and always ready to explore more options with such an open heart. And she is a very brilliant motivator, and that's how I'm here. Even after a big break, she invited me, and I'm here to host this day today. And not just this, every student gets amazing book written by ma'am herself, which is now like a Bible to many of you. I'm very sure many of you would be, relating to it every day and out. And I think I can continue with all this. The words will really fall short, but let me now get start going. And with my extended gratitude to my guru and many of you here, their guru, for the prenatal and postnatal yoga garb sanskar, I would now hand it over to our very own and beloved Nutan ma'am to share her journey so far. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Saru, for a beautiful introduction and saying it from your depth of the heart. I can feel it emotionally. I I became a little bit emotional because it's a 4 years and I couldn't think of it is possible without the students like you who are giving me tremendous means unlimited. I get love and respect, and everyone is ready to just to do anything for the AYJ Academy. Whenever I reach to my any student, will you be like to participate or take some workshop or do some work? I'm here for you to just give the platform. And thank you, Saru. And my special thanks today goes to Dr. Priya and Dr. Sweta, who has actually agreed and taken out their valuable time to come here and enlighten me and my students so that we can celebrate this AYJ Academy's event, as well as it should not be just the celebration and only talking about AYJ Academy. I believe that each and every time the time is very valuable for everyone. And it is, in fact, everything. So we don't want to waste our time to just share what we achieve in this 4 years. And there are a lot of things. I think divine energy is already blessing me a lot in fulfilling all this my vision and mission, which I'm doing through academy, reaching out personally, like Dr. Sweta recently when I found her video on how to chant Om and a lot of things which I feel connected. What she shared, it's completely matching with my dream and the way she convey the subject, example, and all everything is feel like yes, this is what I'm doing, and if I get one more hand in sharing this, why not? So I connected with her and she is also so prompt. Means I think one more person I feel like prompt like me, that is Dr. Sweta. Every time whenever I message, she's giving me answer and attending it. So thank you, Dr. Sweta, personally, again, once again coming here. And thank you to all my students. So far, we have taught more than 1,000 students in pre-postnatal yoga and Garb Sanskar. That is our signature course. Plus, since the time is limited, so I kept so many other courses where student, if they found they want to learn about Ayurveda, they want to learn about some yoga or mantra or mudra. So we kept all that pre-recorded format so that they can sign in and immediately get access to the video and they can learn on their own time and space. So that's how I organize this knowledge before we go some knowledge, and through that knowledge if someone get enlightened and their life get transformed, nothing means my karma has done, I feel. So with saying these few words, I think we can proceed further. And I would like to again give this hand over to Saru to take it forward, this event, our first speaker introduction, and then we can start the session. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. It's always just wonderful to hear to you whatever you say straight from the heart, your journey, your experiences, everything. And now, before I invite our next eminent speaker, whom Nutan ma'am has already introduced so many things, and I'm myself looking forward to hear from you, ma'am. And I have one question. So, can any one of you unmute or raise your hand and tell me which is the most important body part which we need to take holistic care of ourselves? Anybody, you can raise your hand, I can unmute, or you can unmute and answer.
And I think, if possible, all of you, it is not compulsory to open your camera and show your face, but if you can, definitely we would like to see you and have that connection, and transfer this energy more active way. if not in person, at least in front of camera, because this is closed group. No need to, have some barriers. So may I request whoever wants to just open camera and say
Very
few.
nice. Thank you,
Yes, thank you.
Miss Kritika. You already opened your video. That's nice. So, just once again, there have been some new entries. I welcome you all again. And I was just asking a small question. I'll repeat it. So, I was asking that what do you think is the most important body part of your body for which you think you will really need to take holistic care of throughout, and which is important for everything else in your body? Any answers? Okay, I think I will only give the answer. I already know it. So just let me tell you, this is our brain. It is like a VIP for our whole body. So the function of our whole body is controlled by this one master brain. And अब जैसे कोई वीआईपी मूवमेंट होता है तो हमें पता चल जाता है ना, सारे रास्ते बंद कर देते हैं, इतनी सिक्योरिटी आ जाती है, सब क्लियर हो जाता है और सब कुछ स्मूथ जाना चाहिए। और उसके लिए हम लोग सब कुछ सेफ रखते हैं अराउंड। For the same reason, this VIP of our own body, the brain, needs to get the cleansing and the clearing for all smooth functioning for a very good lifetime. It all depends on our brain, how we treat it, what is going in and what's coming out of it. And all this need to start from very beginning, not very beginning of the birth, but very beginning since conception. So our next speaker today is an expert at it, and she is dynamic and accomplished neurologist, none other than the founder of Limitless Lab, a brain lab in Dubai, Dr. Shweta Adatia. And Dr. Sweta is currently leading neurological department at Gargash Hospital in UAE. She is backed by her multiple levels of medical studies from various parts, India, Canada, USA, and impressively holds 13 gold medals in various subjects. And she has been titled as the brightest mind during her MBA at Cambridge. So, and there would be many more things which I might have been missing out, ma'am, knowing you. And having worked in three continents, Asia, Central Africa, and North America, Dr. Shweta has a global perspective and enriches her medical practices. She can empower the next generation to map their brains. We all know how AI is getting popular and where it will reach. Her book for career decisions has been a global bestseller on Amazon. We are so happy, ma'am, that you, the very, very sought after speaker, is today with us. So, welcoming you, Dr. Shweta. And now, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Saru. Thank you, Dr. Priya, Dr. Nuthan. I think it's all God's grace. As she rightly put in, it has to be divine grace meeting for all of us, the way we meet each other, I think. So my life has been a sheer, absolute journey of Guru Parampara, Guru Grace. So I thank my gurus and entire my offering to those gurus. And I think Dr. Nuthan is your guru. So all of you had a wonderful opportunity to learn, to teach as well now, learn and then teach. I think that should be the mantra that we all need to carry on. So all of you, so some of you I can see it, some of you I cannot see, which is all right. But I think a couple of exercises when we do it, if you can put your camera on, that would be wonderful. I joke and I say I'm a brain plumber. I fix broken brains. That's my day job, but that's not something what I like. In the first place, it should not be broken. And today's entire topic and discussion is very short. I think I have about 30 minutes, but very interesting. We'll try to make it, and I'll give my own mantra. My brain has been a little interesting, my brain. So let me just show you a little bit of the fundamentals and facts, etc., what has been happening in my life as well. I think Saru very well gave some glimpse. So interestingly enough, my life has itself been a very interesting experiment. So anything that people say, oh, you can't do this, that is very, very interesting for me. So when I turned 37, they said, oh, I can't do an MBA, I'm too old. I said, okay, hold on, let me just get the power of the brain and we'll try and see what is not possible. And I was very fortunate to have been selected at Oxford, Cambridge, MIT, you know, so, and I came back to that agency. In fact, it was an agency who said, Doc, it's too late, you know, you're too old, etc. And I said that, look, the brain is such an interesting, and fortunately or unfortunately, I'm a plumber myself, right? So brain, I know how it goes and what can be fixed, etc. So working with the brain myself, so I always say that your brain, your mind is the first lab. It is the first experimental point. Any change that you wish, any change that you want to make, everything is possible provided you are ready, open for those experiments, open to learn, open to do something and make a shift or make a change. So that's been sort of, you know, my journey so far. But today I think let's have this amazing this into how do we master mental well-being or brain well-being, or you know, I think mental health is being talked so much nowadays. Look at this, look at these statistics. It's just so disheartening to read that 1 in 8 people will live with a mental condition. I mean, these kind of data and statistics really jar our, you know, as fundamental human beings, right? 1 in 2 will see our lives devastated with dementia. Dementia, which means you forget things, right? Now, if this is the state of affair, the question to ask is, why is all this happening? What is going on currently? And it's not just what is statistically shown in WHO, right? I think we are practitioners, so I practice neurology, and this is my everyday job as well, to see people start struggling with stress, burnout. Last couple of weeks I had a couple of directors from big companies, right, top companies such as Apple and all, talking about burnout, talking about stress, talking about feeling depressed, feeling anxious. So what is going on? So I think there's somewhere some things really need to get fixed. So, you know, we are also concerned about our bank balance. Have we ever thought about what is our cognitive currency? What is the cognitive currency or the balance that we need to put it into our brains for making sure that it lives 100 years, first of all? We are also particular about our bodies. We are also particular about all the exercises and the food that we need to do. But what is the currency that we are giving to the brain? And by the way, the brain is already born. When it's born with 100 billion neurons, trillions of synapses. It has all the potentials that one can imagine. But over time, what is happening, you know, let's say if you put some $100 in a bank and the bank is taking away the money, would you like that bank? Obviously you will say, oh my God, what a kind of a bank, you know, your negative balance. Every time you go and check, it's $90, $80. You won't like such a bank. Exactly in the same way, your brain is pruning certain brain cells. It's taking away certain brain neurons. Every day this is happening. Now, provided you are not aware, if you are aware that that brain bank is taking away the money, what would you do? You will be cautioned. You will start putting in extra efforts to make sure that you earn interest out of it, to make sure that some neurons are grown. So in that journey and process, I think all the contributions of Dr. Nutan, AYG Academy, I think Dr. Priya's work, everybody, each of us and you guys, all of us will have to work together. I say it's going to be the generational cognitive currency. I think we were very lucky, you know, most of you are possibly my age. We were never born with mobile phones. We were never born with all the digital. I think I got my first computer when I was 26. So we have never been exposed to all the hula what is happening around. Now look at our children. I mean, I'm seeing a 3-year-old navigating through the YouTube as though, you know, it's like they're sitting in a garden and playing with something. It's so fascinating to see. At the same time, so depressing also. At the same time, feeling that what are we doing to this cognitive currency, the generational currency? So I think somewhere, and the data and statistics, I think, Saru, you're from Singapore. Singapore has published some data about digital dementia. The more we are going to use our mobile phones and more screens, the earlier the dementia is going to set in, earlier the brain problems are going to come in. So all these are coming up very fast. 30-year-old suffering from memory loss. We never heard all these things in the past. So it is even more of an opportunity for all of us to learn anything. And in today's session, if you forget everything, which is perfectly fine, but one thing, one message that I'm going to give you, and that is called movers. And I'll teach what is that movers like. Spending 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of your everyday life with movers is all that can save that brain, or that can protect that brain and mental well-being, etc. Can anybody tell me what graph is this? Just a wild guess of what is it showing? I think Hiral was answering a couple of questions, so maybe you can take it a shot on the chat. Kritika, Shweta, what is the graph that we're looking at? Any guesses? Yeah, Shweta.
It's the world graph. I mean, we
Yes,
are talking
it's a world map.
Yeah.
But showing what? From green, light green to dark green. What is it showing?
Is it population we are talking about? But why India is light green?
India is light green, yes, but no, population, of course, India cannot be light green, right? So this map is showing the stress levels of the people. The darker green it is, more stressed they are. And now look at North America, right? Look at most parts in Europe. This is so disheartening. And now India is catching up. I don't think so. India is far behind in any of the things, particularly when it comes to stress as well. So with this kind of stress, with this kind of mental thing, I think we really need some tools. We really have to make it a lifestyle. So in today's session, I'm going to give you that tool, and we'll have some secrets about the healthy brain and what you can do, healthy mental fitness or well-being, etc. So we'll talk about metacognition. Metacognition is nothing but thinking about thinking. That is the beauty of learning metacognition or understanding metacognition. I really love this slide. Every single talk has this. I'm a brain. Rest of me is an appendix. Not that because I'm a brain doctor, but then brain is such an interesting and such a marvelous organ. It has all the right things in place to technically build our character, build our destiny. Let me put it that way. So fixing that is extremely important. Now, some pertinent facts about the brain. If I take a single pinhead, and if I want to see how many number of brain cells are on that single pinhead, I'm expecting somewhere 70 to 80,000 brain cells on that. The total memory storage capacity, if I want to draw all the memory storage capacity from the brain, I will need to stack an entire Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building, to have all the memory exhausted. 2.5 petabytes, and 1 petabyte is a million gigabyte. Just imagine the power, the storehouse of stuff that brain has. Now, when we are growing, and at that's why Garbha Sanskar is extremely close to my heart, because when we are growing, the number of the brain cells, the speed with which it is growing is just absolutely fabulous. It is 250,000 per second. Now imagine, with this much amount of the speed of the brain, what is growing, what kind of an environment we need to give to that brain, what kind of an internal milieu we need to give to that brain, what is the support system that we need to create for that kind of a brain, because all the actions, everything that you want to form in life is between 0 and 6 years. The growth or the curve of everything, all the sensory sensations that we can take in, all the best things that we can take in, is maximum at the age of 3 years. The number of the languages that we can learn, the number of the interactions that we can have. Later on, we just have all the motor outputs, but the sensations, and that's why, when people say, oh, parents are just, there's a fight going on. It's okay. The child is only 3 years old. Sorry, the child is 3 years old, but all the sensory inputs are going into the child. So it is so important for parents. It is so important for all of us as teachers in the community to get this message across, that if we want this generational currency, we need to really start early. And in fact, we need to start even at the conception, because in our great grand scriptures, it says that you can design a baby. You can actually have that concept of whatever you want during that time. So people tell me, oh, but you're an allopathic practitioner. Why do you believe in all this? I said, E is equal to MC square. Energy and matter are interconvertible. The energy is nothing but the thinking, right? The process of thoughts itself is energy. Now, any matter that I want the right energy to be transmuted. We never say transferred, right? We just say it's changing form from one to the other. That transmutation is happening from an energy to the thought to the property, whatever we want, matter that we want. So I'm complete 100% believer in designing the baby that you want, that you desire. Let's do this experiment of how powerful thinking is. This is one of my favorite exercises. I want you to put your hands like this, and then put your hand in the Namaskar Mudra and focus on the middle finger. I just want to show how powerful this little packet of thinking can be. Just putting your hands here and then putting it in the Namaskar Mudra. Check out your middle fingers. Either they will be equal or one will be taller than the other. Just tell me if it's equal. Shout out, Kritika, Shweta, Saru, all of you. You can just shout out. Yeah, what is it for you? You can just unmute. Amaya
It's equal.
Australia. Yeah.
Equal for Saru.
Equal, equal, okay, equal, wherever it
Right
is.
is
Okay, right is taller.
right
Please
is
remember that.
little bit more. Yeah,
Little
like
bit tall.
one
Yeah,
is
it will be just slightly tall, but remember
Yeah.
that. Okay, for
Left one
wherever
is a
it
little taller.
okay, little tall. Please remember that, Manisha. Thank you for doing
It is
that.
equal for me.
Equal for you. Wonderful. Please remember whatever is there, please remember. Okay, now remove your hands and I want you to focus for all the people where it was equal. Pick up any finger of your choice, right or left, does not matter. Make it tall in your mind. You want to continuously repeat. If you're right, you're repeating that my right finger is getting taller, my right finger is getting taller. Just mentally repeat that. For people where it was tall, make it equal. So in your mental image, bring a image of equal fingers. Don't use your hands right now. You can just dismantle your hands. Yeah, and just close your eyes for a while and imagine that that finger is getting taller. That finger is getting taller or equal, either of it. Just think whatever is coming in your mind. Just bring it to your focus, maximum attention. By the way, I have 0 degree in hypnosis. I have lots of degrees, but I don't know any hypnosis. So this is not going to be any hypnosis. So it is all that you will do it for yourself. Okay, keep thinking in your mind. Bring that image of making the finger, whatever is your choice finger. Please do that. Please do that. And one more time, couple of more times. Bring that image vivid. You should be able to see that image. Very good. All of you are seriously doing it, closing your eyes. Wonderful. Let's do it again and check what is happening. Shweta, Manisha, let's put all up there and okay, for Manisha, it changed. Yes, for Shweta also, I'm seeing it already taller. For Hiral, it's changed. For Dr. Priya, it's changed. Saru, let's do it for you. It's time for you to do it. Yes, for Kritika also, it changed because I can see the left being taller. Wonderful. Amazing. 90% of the times when you do this exercise, there is a change which can be measured with even a caliper. So when you take in the lab and you measure, there is a micromillimeter difference which will happen. Yes, Saru, it happened for you because it is now equal. I can see it. So 90% of the times this experiment is successful. Why is that? You just got one few seconds of an image into your mind and it changed the reality of yourself, right? It changed the reality of physiology. So I call it the psycho neuro physio immune endocrinology. And I like to say it as a wrapper, psycho neuro physio immuno endocrinology. Okay, so it starts with your mind, goes on to your brain and goes on to the physiology. I think Dr. Priya is going to talk about reproductive health. So it's all definitely connected. You know, it all starts with the mind, goes to the brain, goes to immune system, hormone system, and your body. So when people say they cured their cancers, yes, it is possible to cure your cancer. When people say the stroke was cured with all the mindset, the right type of the thinking. Now the question comes is, what are we doing currently? Are we thinking right? How many of you think you overthink? Just raise your hands if you think overthink. Just think, why is this, I would say, tsunami of overthinking? Why is this happening? Any thoughts? Why are we overthinking? We never had this problem many years back. I never had my grandparents talking about overthinking. I never overheard even my parents saying, oh, you know, my mind is non-stop and I just can't stop thinking. And what is going on? Why are we doing this? Yeah, Saru,
Uh,
tell me.
I think it's a platter of things in front of us now. Earlier, the life was very simple. Now we have all kinds of things in front of us. WhatsApp is one big thing in that, and so much social media and
See, every
all the news
experiment
channels and
was
everything just in our
designed.
hand.
Absolutely. Every experiment was designed. Do you have an end in Instagram? When you're scrolling your Instagram, can anybody tell me where is the end of Instagram? No. Can anybody tell me where does the Facebook end? It will end when you end. It is when you switch your button. That is when, so the brakes are not outside. The brakes are all inside. And unfortunately, those brakes fail every night. You know, every night, 10 o'clock, the Instagram process starts and does not go on until 1 or 2 o'clock. Overstimulation. Very true. It is all about the excess of stimulation, over communication. Everything is all about overthinking. So that is what is causing the problem. But optimal thinking, correct thinking, proper thinking is what is necessary. And that is what we need to do. Now, my car is going at 150 kilometers an hour, which is my mind. And suddenly now people say, oh, stop the mind. You know, you don't think too much. How can that 150 kilometers put a brake? Accident will happen. So you need to now decelerate. You need to start to learn to reduce the speed every day. One fine day, it is not going to happen that you just stop your car. Okay. So please remember that the entire thing that we are going to talk is going to be about consistency. Every day, what are you doing for your mind? What are you doing for your brain's currency? And that is what in the end will give us the results. That is what will pay us, and not just pay us in terms of money. Yes, money can also come. I like abundance. I talk about abundance, neuro manifestation, but that's just one small part of our lives, right? Imagine you have $1 million in your bank account and you're diagnosed with cancer. What will happen? And they will say that, oh, you just have 2 months to live in. What will you do with that $1 million? So balance is something what is extremely important. So we have devised a little brain score called brain fitness score. You can go to www.drshwetaadatia.com, check out your score. It's a very, very quick, simple 5 minutes of a scoring system where you will understand how fit your brain is. If you are about 60, between 60 and 70, wonderful, you're doing a great job. If it's between 50 and 60, you need to push a little bit of your habits slightly more. If it's under 50, you need to come and definitely see me in my clinic. Something really has to fundamentally change in your life to make that score. Okay. So please check it out for you. You will see it, the results, as soon as you do in your emails, and write to me. I'm also all there. So this is my score. And I always like to talk like a typical neuroscientist. Whatever you can measure, you can manage. Anything in life, first fundamental of change or management is all about measurement. And that is what we have been doing at Limitless Brain Lab as well. So first understanding how the brain works, and then making changes, making sure that tracking is there, monitoring is there. Okay, let me give a little bit of nuances about the brain's anatomy, and then we go to movers. That is another 15 minutes, and we'll wrap up. So what is this? Can anybody guess what is this?
Ice cream is good.
Manisha, Ameya, Sumit?
Ice cream is good.
Ice cream is good. Ice cream is good. Ice cream is good. Do you guys agree to that? Ice cream is good.
Yes, ice cream is good.
Yes.
Ice cream is good with all the sugars, but it is this. Now, this is exactly the brain's catch point, because the brain will only assume the information which is given to it. So there are two systems which are running in the background. There is system 1 and system 2. And this work was done by Daniel Kahneman. The system 1 is an effortless system. Oh, I just see this and then I make a reaction. And that is exactly what you all did, right? That's ice cream is good is coming from system 1. System 2 is little effortful. You need a reason. You need to make sure that the intention is right. And the brain is the laziest organ. From the time we have been born, from the time we were hunter-gatherers, all it needs is to rest. Comfort zone. We talk about comfort zone. What is that comfort zone? That comfort zone is the brain's laziness, what we are talking about. The brain does not want to go into system 2. It is happy being in the system 1. So that was because in the olden times, we did not want to spend more energy. But now what is there? We have all the Zomatos and we have all the Swiggies and all to feed us entire day. We don't have to go hunting. We don't have to do anything. Still, the brain remembers that. The brain remembers that system 2 part of it. So system 1 part of it very, very, very well. Now, as I'm talking to you, there are 3 brains which are getting activated. One brain is called the brain stem, which is breathing, and which is also my heart is beating because of that. I go a little bit up. There is a brain called emotional brain or the limbic brain. And this brain is all calibrating the emotions. I don't think so. I like this speaker. I think I like this speaker. I think today my mood was very bad. The tea was not very good. I don't like the way the maid does this. I think my boss is not doing correctly. So in the good old times, tigers and lions were the threats. And in today's time, the threat is an email bomb which comes in, suddenly a WhatsApp bomb which comes from your relatives, from your friends. So all these are the threats. So the limbic system or the emotional system is catching those threats and balancing it to make sure that your reaction comes out. But the next brain is very important. That is called the rational brain, also called the prefrontal cortex. And that is all about proper judgment, understanding what is good and bad, intuition, getting to know the right things. So these are the 3 levels of the brain which we have. Now, let me show you this. Okay, so on the right, what you are seeing is that in an animal, your limbic system is big, while your prefrontal cortex is small. Just the reverse for us. Our limbic and emotional system is small, but our prefrontal cortex right here is big. But now imagine what are we doing every single time? Every day between the choice of reaction and response, system 1 and system 2, what we keep doing? System 1 all the time, right? Always system 1. Yes, that is what we are so much tuned. And that is the reason why, every little thing we are judgmental about people. We are sensitive. We fall into the trap of, not understanding things as they are. We have colored emotions. Either we have too much of, so we call it raga dvesh, right? Either we have too much of love or we have too much of dispassion. So we are never balanced. All this is happening because of the active, rapid emotional system, which is very active in us. Now, the formula, if we want to achieve anything in life, I'm telling you, this is the formula. And believe me, we have shown experiments, and I'll show you a couple of more experiments that we have done as well. Growing the prefrontal cortex, having that mastery, both sides of the brain, which are perfectly connected, will give you empathy, insight, emotional regulation, mood regulation, intuition, attuned communication. These both work as switch. The moment your emotional system one is very hyperactive, this tones down. And the reverse happens. If your prefrontal cortex is active, now participating, then your emotional switch is down. So this switch or regulation is something what you can develop, something what you can make it happen. And if you do that, believe me, all the stress and the burnout and the anxiety and the panic that we talk about will be out. So somewhere you come into the balance zone of optimum level of stress, of optimum level of effort that you do, and optimum outcome that you can have. So in the lab, let me show you quickly what we do. So we have these kind of scanners and multiple scanners of different types where we can understand how are you thinking. What is the extent to which your prefrontal cortex activity is happening? What is the balance between the two sides of the brain? Is your emotional system hyperactive or hyper aroused? Everything can be mapped. And it is very interesting. So many years back, I had a very deep emotional experience in my life. So I had this childhood friend who left, one fine day, 23 years of relationship, beautiful relationship. She was like a sister to me. And one fine day, ghosting, she's disappeared. She does not answer my phone calls. Everything is gone. And I could not take it. It was very, very deep emotional for me. I was like, as though, the world had come to an end. And luckily, I was in United States and I was going through one of the experiments with another professor. We were doing something else, but I just talked to him and he said, why don't you get into the scanner? We will look into your emotional system and what is happening. I said, that's a great idea. And once I go back home, I'm going to also check it through the EEG, the electroencephalogram. When we checked it, it was such a shocking thing for me that my limbic system or my emotional system was overfiring. It was just continuously in the rumination of why did she do this? Why could this happen to me? Why? And now in your life, just hold, pause, and ask yourself, is your mind in the past or in the future or in the present? Most times it will always be thinking about the past. As of now, just pause yourself and just focus, be aware. Where is your mind right now? Something that you didn't do, something that you were supposed to be doing, something that happened yesterday or today morning, something that happened in your immediate life, which was certainly emotional in nature. Anything rational that you did, you will just forget about it. Let's say you wanted to, I'm just giving some silly example. You wanted to buy a mutual fund. You bought your mutual fund and finished. The rational job is done. Do you keep on thinking about it? No. What you will keep on thinking about it is the emotional colored thing, what happens in your life. Somebody told you something and it'll keep on ruminating. Somebody asked you to do certain things or he did not smile. Nowadays, the teenagers come and she did not smile. He did not talk. These are all the ruminating points which are going on. But that is the beauty of it, that the mind is either at the past or in the future. Now, our job is to become aware and try to grow this prefrontal cortex so the mind remains in the present moment. The mind is there right here when I need it. And that is why we measure through these 4 brain waves. I'm not going to go into the detail, but these 4 brain waves are very, very important. When I close my eyes, I generate alpha. When I'm thinking and talking to you, I generate beta. When I go into a little bit of a trance, when we prayed, we started with Om chanting in the beginning, the 3 things that we did. And why do we do 3? Why not just 1? Why not 5? Why not 7? All this is scientific, because in that 3 times when we do, we get into slightly alpha because we are closing our eyes, and we touch theta and we come out. The moment we are in the theta, then we will be in the trance state, in the flow state, in the dreaming state. And then when we go to sleep, it's delta. So all the traditional practices of praying a few times a day, closing our eyes, talking about Om, when you do Om chanting, you are automatically creating this alpha and a bit of theta as well. And when you're doing O, when you do a longer O like that, you're creating beta or hyper focus. So when you want to get attentive, when you're feeling very drowsy, sleepy, chant the O in the higher tone and you will produce beta. When you want to go to sleep, then chant it in ma, which is longer. Oh, when you do ma longer, then you get into this rhythm, which is drowsiness or theta or delta. So each of the brainwave is extremely important. Let me show you a couple of scans. So these are the scans from top people. So in my lab, what we do is we take these peak performers. One of the scans is of a leader in the United Arab Emirates. He's one of the kings and leaders. You can see that his theta is extremely high. Red is high, blue is low. He's continuously processing all the thoughts and everything in the theta, which means always in the flow state, creative state, can do things very fast. Beta is giving you pressure. Beta needs a lot of power. He's not using so much of power, but getting things done. On the right-hand side, there is a guy who remembers 100 things all at once. He's called Shatavadhan. So 100 things are happening parallelly and everything he can remember. So if you can see his alpha, his beta, his theta, everything is red, high amplitude. So all these are the brains which teaches us something. It teaches us that for us to become peak performers, for us to remain our minds in the present tense, to make mind focused, to make mind aware, we need to start to learn modulating these brain waves. Give yourself an audit of the day. How many times do you close your eyes and sit? Tell me very honestly, very frankly. How many times do you close your eyes and sit in the entire day? Answers. Shweta?
Minimum 21 minutes.
Very good. So at least in those 21 minutes, you are generating alpha and you're possibly going and touching a little bit of theta also. If I want to develop a biceps, I don't just say, oh, biceps develop, biceps develop. What I need to do is I need to work on it. I need to make the exercise. The same way, if I want to develop my alpha, if I want to develop my prefrontal cortex, if I want to develop that theta, I need to start doing the right things. Brahmri, humming bee technique is a beautiful, beautiful breathing technique. What does it give you? And I'll show you my own Brahmri in, this is the scan which was taken pre and post one single session of Brahmri. I want you to see on the right-hand side, there is theta of the red color. No, this was with meditation. Yeah, sorry. This is post 5 minutes of meditation. On the right-hand side, you see the theta with a red, little bit of a red spot, like a little sun, little kind of a sunny egg appearance. After 5 minutes, of this meditation, this was a colleague of mine, you look at the theta which got generated, very high amplitude theta which got generated. Now, this is what I call exercising theta. This is what I call exercising alpha. So Shweta, when you're closing your eyes for 21 minutes, you are serving that part of the brain. You are serving that wave. And when you keep doing that, modulation happens, because in the brain, what is required is this modulation. You are stressed, you have to perform. Beta is there. But if that beta remains all the time, that is overthinking. That is what we just talked about. That is what we just talked, that mind never stops. 150 kilometers an hour. That is that beta. Your beta's job is done. You need to get out of beta. You need to get into alpha. You need to get into theta. Most people are unable to do that. They have all the beta firing, and then they try to go to sleep. What will happen? My mind is not stopping. I don't get sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night. I get 5 to 6 times this. Why? Because you have not let your brain waves function the way they are. Let me show you a brain scan from Brahmri. And by the way, Brahmri or humming bee are a couple of variety and types is there. Huh? You can say when we do that in inhalation and exhalation. So normal people know about the Brahmri, which is the female version of it, which is exhalation. But when you inhale, you can also do a Brahmri, and that is a Brahmra variety. So it's a different variety when you inspire and do it, and exhalation and expire and do it. Most people understand the exhalation part, which is fine. So you just take a deep breath and then so this is how you do it. Now, please practice, because the more longer that exhalation that you can keep in, you are kicking all the right chemicals. You are kicking the vagus nerve, the longest nerve in the body, helping you do the right functions of your heart, of your brain, clarity, mental focus. So many things are happening with vagus nerve stimulation as well. So this single thing that I did in Brahmari, and we did a pre and a post scan. Look at on the left-hand side that you see beta. There is a little red line that you're seeing in the front portion on the left-hand side, right? And look at what happened on the right-hand side. High beta also, look at it, which was yellow, became red. Look at the coherence, just the third line when you look at coherence, which means how the two sides of the brain are connected. Look at in the last part, everything becomes super connected. So this simple one technique is giving you hyper focus, hyper attention, super focus. So very simple, you know, Brahmari is not taking any time. So if you think that you are overthinking, you're overstressed, you cannot sleep, please do Brahmari, at least 2 to 3 cycles. And especially during sleep, if you listen to your own Brahmari, the results have been fascinating. You can quickly get into the state of alpha, theta, and go to delta very fast. So you just record your own Brahmari because that's very unique to you. It's a frequency with which your brain is resonating, your body is resonating. Replay it and you will see a fundamental, fantastic change. So my formula that I promised to you is called movers. I do this 5 minutes every single day. The 3 real reasons that I want to practice this is, number 1, I want my prefrontal cortex to grow. So my judgments, intuition, attuned communication, the work that I do, focus, memory, all the future plans, programs, the divine energy, the intersections that we are talking about, everything can happen, number 1. Number 2 is my emotional regulation, mood regulation, reaction. System 1 can have an influence. And number 3, I want to remain healthy in the body as well. So psycho, neuro, physio, immuno, endocrinology. So these are the 3 fundamental reasons why I practice this for at least 5 to 15 minutes every single day. It is very, very simple formula called movers. M, do you want to guess what M stands for? M?
Meditation.
Yes, M for meditation, O for ocean breathing. I like ocean breathing. I do ocean breathing, which is also called Ujjayi or victory breathing. All our breathing techniques are absolutely fabulous. Please learn Dr. Nutan's academy, or, you know, just each of them has such a deep influence on the brain, the mind, the entire physiology. So my personal favorite is that, but please do anything. There's also something called the rapid Bastrika. Quick inside out. So currently we are doing a lot of experiments with that. And what we have found is there is a very high level of nitric oxide which is generated. There is a high level of dopamine which is kicking in. The symmetry of the brain cell functioning is getting better. The prefrontal cortex firing is getting better. Quick theta is happening. So these are all happening with rapid Bastrika. So that is our lab's job. You know, we try to do experiments with different techniques. So any breathing technique you pick up, if you don't want to do anything, just simply practice diaphragmatic breathing. That is nothing but deep breathing. Taking a deep breath right from your diaphragm, not from your chest, not from the lungs. You're supposed to breathe deeper. All is just sit somewhere, just relax and do deep breathing. Even 5 minutes of deep breathing, enough. Visualization, just visualize and have mental clarity on every single day. The night you go to sleep, the best way to avoid the stress is run that day. Replay the next day that you are going to have in your life. Replay the entire week that you're going to have. What will happen is your brain will start forming those chemicals. The brain does not understand between reality and what is not real. There was an experiment which was done. The piano players were actually physically practicing, and one group was given mental notes or mental practice notes. The brain was scanned before and brain was scanned after. Both the groups had the exact same brain growth in the physical practice and in the mental practice, which means the brain does not understand between the reality. So it starts to produce the circuits, the chemicals. So sometimes, you know, I'm lazy. System 1, going back to our olden this, right? So I practice sun salutations or Surya Namaskar in my mind. So I know that some of the exercises and effects would still kick in and come in. So visualization, extremely effective. Okay. And any kind of exercise, whatever yoga, I think you guys are all experts into that. Please learn, because yoga, the purpose of yoga was never limited to physical exercise, the Pilates and whatever we have now. You know, it was, I mean, we have such a beautiful culture, right? We come from a vast culture which everything had a meaning. Each of the yoga poses with the breathing technique that we can do is enough to stimulate the prefrontal cortex. is enough to have the limbic system deactivated. Yoga means union. It was supposed to have the divine intersection, divine intervention. So it is not about mere exercise. So please learn it properly and make it a part of your life. Reading affirmations. You know, I say this delta to beta syndrome. I'll tell you what is that meaning. You know, every day, how many of you wake up with an alarm in your phones? You have an alarm in your phone. Terrible, right? Terrible, because first of all, waking up with an alarm is you are delta, happily sleeping, and suddenly you jump to beta. The alarm is ringing and then your brain is in a state of shock. Delta to beta, terrible for your brain. You need to come out. Sleeping should be a ritual. Waking up should be a ritual. Sleep is like mini death. You know, you don't know if you will wake up in the morning. So it should be a ritualistic process. You need to go from your beta to slowly alpha to theta, delta. When you wake up, just the reverse, delta to theta to alpha. The initial phase when you go to sleep and initial phase when you wake up are the manifestation hotspots. The time that you want anything you want to manifest in life, the time that you want that visualization to happen, please use that. It's a trance state. Your brain is prepared. Everything can happen. But we go from delta to beta. Suddenly the mobile phone alarm. So which means you will land up watching your WhatsApp. You will land up watching your email. You will land up seeing that. And then the beta cycle and hyper beta cycle and overthinking, everything will kick in. Okay. So reading, but please not reading on the mobile phone, reading a book, real book, which is giving you something affirmative, something positive, because the day you start your brain chemistry, that chemistry hangs on for your entire day. Positive chemistry, positive day. Negative chemistry, negative day. Very, very important. And S for scribing. Write down everything which is not serving you. If there is something which is bothersome, something which is not right in your life, please write it down. For the brain, writing down and removing it means closure. Remember that. It's a simple thing. Scribing is so superly looking simple thing, but it's catharsis. It's very important for the brain. So that's it. Movers for 5 to 7 minutes every single day. Lots and lots of stuff is there in that in details. But yeah, if you want more, Limitless Brain Lab is there. I am there. And all of us are there for support. I think Ameya is coming from Australia. He's a part of our club member that we run in Dubai. The hunger is very, very important. The urge to make a change, to make a shift. And I want each of you, my prayers, so that each of you become a peak performer in your life. Make changes, not just for your life, for your children's life. And I think then the vision for having a beautiful world, beautiful nation, society, world at large is accomplished. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to interact, and lovely to meet all of you. Yes.
Lovely, ma'am. It's like a whole new world suddenly opened in front of us. And how nicely you have shown your experimental and your studies. And it's such a big learning that, you have been from with this allopathic or medical background, and how nicely you have intervened with the natural methods of Ayurveda healing and the real things going in the body. It's just amazing. I think you have taken this healthcare to another innovation, and we are so lucky to hear it all from you directly. So I think at this point, many of you, I can already see Hiral has a question. Just raise her hand. So if anybody else also has, just unmute yourself and you can raise it to Dr. Shweta.
Thank you, Ashwini. I like hearts, so my big heart to
Yeah.
you guys as well.